Sure. Hi, this is Vishal. I got into Helium a couple months ago where I started learning about it. And one of the things that I found really interesting, again, I have a day job, but what I was not able to do, uh, Helium had a great documentation, and I was able to kind of learn about the blockchain and how to get data out of it. So it was mainly started as a side project where I wanted to create something where I can connect to the blockchain data, do the API call and get the data back, display it, and kind of it evolved. And it was a fun project. So I talked to some of my friends, and it was like, yeah, this can go on as a good site. So I created this site. So basically, what I'm going to present today is a Helium Hiker sites where uh, you can just get some information about your hotspot rewards over a month. You can provide the dates as well. So I'll quickly get into the demo. So that's the first part. And then I also started working with Jamie on the DeFi to see if I can get access to the data so I can create some reports out of it. So I'll quickly go over that as well after my first demo of the Helium Hiker. So let me share my screen and quickly go over the site. Okay, so when you land on the page, I mean, it's very similar to like how Mylar used to be, but I don't have any sort of login page just yet. uh, so user cannot really track anything if they log in. It's just mainly a form where they enter a name and they will get the information about that particular hotspot. So let me just type in one that I have been using a lot for my testing. But one of the thing is either you leave it blank and it will provide you a lifetime rewards. If you keep the start date but don't fill in the end date, it will take today's date. But I'm just going to do it, let's say, for 2 weeks uh, in November. So what it will do is it will get the data from the Helium blockchain and kind of displays on a month. Well, I only picked the month, but I'll pick a different example later. But it's not supposed to happen. Let me try again.
Aren't demos fun?
Yep, absolutely. So let me try it again. I'm probably going to pick today's date as well. So it hopefully it should show you the rewards for that particular account split by months. So like, as we can see, October, November, and December, and we have the total for that time range. But one of the other cool thing I have here is that once you selected one hotspot, it will also gives you kind of a list of hotspots by cities, the state city, and number of hotspot in that location, and user can navigate in any of the hotspot they want. And again, it will still be with the same time range that they're selecting, and the data will be available there. So that's sort of my hotspot page where I have information about the hotspot HNT rewards for a particular time frame that user has mentioned, as well as the hotspots list for particular accounts. And user can navigate as many as they want. The date will not change at that point. If they want, they can go back to the homepage and change it. But then one of the other thing I have is again, this monthly page or the reward distributed by month is on the hotspot page. But if user just wants to know, like for let's say they pick a week and they just want to know what their reward has been for all the hotspot in their account by the city. So what I usually do is in that case, get the hotspot data, but this will be just a summary or the total for that time frame, and it will be displayed on the next page. Hopefully it should load up. So currently it's doing API calls directly, but one of the thing I'm working on is storing data locally so that way I'm able to fetch it very quickly. Uh, So yeah, this is the account page where it provides the total earnings for the time frame, as well as again very similar to what I had before on the side, but this just kinds of provide. So if you want to see for the Menlo Park, it will list out all the earnings for those city hotspots, and user can navigate through. One of the enhancement I was trying to make but haven't had a chance to do it yet is currently it just displays kind of one by one. I'm trying to make it responsive. Uh, uh, so in mobile, it's probably going still going to be like this, but if it is on a laptop, I would ideally would like to display like multiple in a row. So just sort of having more information in a same page. So that's kind of a project I've been working on for some time now and on my as a side project on off hours. It's very straightforward if you say if you think about it, but it takes a lot of time and energy to put the data in a format that we want, as well as making all those calls and getting the data out.
Oh, absolutely. No, Vishal, this is very nice. And you said it scales well to mobile interface as well. Do you mind going through a little bit about the architecture and kind of the setup or design behind this?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it all started as like so by profession I am an analytic manager working in financial industry. So my work always has been around the SQL side of it, but I'm very interested in learning new programming language, and again Python was on my list for some time now. So I started learning Python, and for me the best use was I need to start creating something in order to learn the language. So over time, I started doing Python, and basically, I created like a lot of backend uh, code and functions already based on Python, so that I was displaying the information like on a terminal. And then uh, I wanted to show it on a UI, so I kind of just taken an extension from Python. So it's a Python Flask based UI right now. Uh, and I'm hosting it locally right now, but if there is a interest, I may think about putting it out on a cloud. But yeah, currently it's just locally hosted, running uh, Python Flask for a UI and Python as a backend. Um, I am currently working on, but haven't had a chance to, is integrating some backend and caching through MongoDB. So I'm still working on it, but yeah, that's where I'm right now.
For those unfamiliar with Flask, can you just give, I mean, but may be familiar with Python, can you just give a quick kind of explanation of what Flask is and why someone would use that for rapid development?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Flask is a very lightweight web protocol where it's similar to like Django, as also there in Flask, but sorry, it's a Django, or let's say in many popular ones they have React and Node. So those are like providing the web server framework. Flask is such very similar, but it's very lightweight and you can customize it according to your need. So it's just an extension of Python created for web server. Flask on itself will not be able to host like website. It's more for a development. So I have done like a WSGI as a web server that hosts my Flask code, and then I'm exposing it through Nginx through outside.
Well, very cool. I posted a link into chat if anyone wants to take a look at this. And do you mind opening it up to Q&A if anyone has questions about the development or the implementation here?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, just before I do that, right? So again, even from here, there are hyperlinks posted. So if anyone if user is an account page and they want to go look at the particular hotspot, they have an ability to do it from here. There are hyperlinks available there as well as if they just want to look at the overall for the Net Explorer. So they have a hyperlink to the Explorer as well. What I'm trying to do next is go to the one of the dashboard that I have created. But yeah, I can take any question on the Helium Hiker or the site that I've been doing.
Yeah. So this is Mike Boucher, Michelle. Where are you calling to get this information? Like, is there a blockchain server that has a public API and you're calling it and fetching it from there? How are you doing that?
Yeah, so that is correct. Helium has a public API where you can query the information and it will return the information. So, and very good documentation is available on the Helium developer site. So I can send out the link. But yeah, all the API calls are available or on the Helium developer site.
Okay, thank you.
And Mike, if you can load all of this up into Postman, and it makes it very easy to kind of experiment with the API and with the various calls that are available to you there.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Great. I mean, if there are no other questions, I would like to present one more thing that I have been working recently. As again, making API calls is expensive and it takes time. So I was looking for an option. So reached out to Jamie on DY so to see if I can get access to ETL instance. And I think he has set up a metabase on the DY ETL instance. So I could query the data there and create some dashboards. So what I did recently is I worked on creating a dashboard that kinds of goes into more detail about the rewards than what I have on my Helium Hiker site. Helium Hiker is great if you just want to like go and identify what's the weekly earning, and if you have a if you're a host, you can quickly provide your share to the host as well. So let me go back, go to here. So this is the report that I have. And what I'm trying to do next is also integrate it into the Helium Hiker as providing one of the links so that it opens up this page on the Helium Hiker site. What this dashboard does, it kinds of pull data from the, the database instance. Um, the currently the way it works is I'm providing the owner ID. So let me pull up the owner ID for that particular account. And once I enter that, it will pull a lot of information. And again, there is no time frame on it. So it is going to pull it for all. What I have is the total rewards for an account, which is the total HNTs that accounts have gained. Um, and this total HNT dollar, it's mainly what it's doing is it's trying to find the latest Oracle value available for that block and using that to calculate the dollar amount. um, so I have the one for the total rewards for an account. Then I have split by the hotspot. Again, these are hyperlinks as well. So if you want, you can directly go to the uh, Explorer for that particular hotspot. So it will load up there. Yeah, it's kind of slow. But yeah, so there are hyperlinks available as well. And it will provide you, in this case, a total for a hotspot. Again, the calculations are the same everywhere. I'm taking the Oracle value available at the time of the HNT earn and using that as a value. So it is particularly at the block level. And yeah, I mean, there are hotspots. In this case, again, this is a probably a bad example because there are many hotspots, but you can filter out on particular hotspots. So let me see if I can do that. And I can also filter out on a hotspot. So in this case, I'm specifically filtered on that one hotspot, and you will be able to see the HNT reward by month. Again, in this case, both are should be the same. And I also have it by day. So you can also see by day the HNT reward that you have for that particular hotspot. This is also work in progress. I'm trying to make some minor improvements, but hopefully when I get a time, I should be able to do that and hopefully make it available to people.
So does that mean this is not public right now? Like this is not a shareable URL, it's just for you? Is that correct?
It is shareable, but I'm still kind of
Oh,
trying
still
to
working.
test and make sure that everything works fine. And
Okay.
I also have to just check with DeVi and make sure that they're okay sharing this.
Okay. Did I notice I saw the dollar column on the right before? Is that like taking um, the estimated HNT dollar price and just multiplying it out? Is that what you were doing?
Yeah, so what I'm doing is we do have the Oracle value available as well on the data instance, and it is, I believe it's like a 50 block. So the price is updated every 50 or 100 block, and let's say if your mining has been determined in those blocks, what I'm doing is I'm taking the latest Oracle value I have available for that block, and I'm multiplying that with the HNT reward, and that's what's calculating the amount.
Very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have.
Yeah, and if you have a question, if you don't have a mic, just type it into chat and I can present it. Otherwise, just unmute your mic and feel free to jump in here, folks.
Hey Vishal, this is
He,
Jamie. I just wanted to give you a big shout out. This is totally what we set this thing up for.
Yeah, absolutely, and thank you for setting it up. I mean, this was great. Like working with API is one thing. Again, it takes a lot of energy. Once I have access to the data, things becomes much easier. So that's what it was, and I think Metabase is great tool as well. So I was able to quickly uh, come up with something very nice.
yeah, I just want to say too, good job on this. This is looks like it'd be really handy information to have. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my intent was something else, but again, I think this information is really helpful if you're a hotspot owner and like trying to get this information right. There are many tools available, so it's one more to add to it. But I think what I saw is that this wasn't available anywhere, and which could be really helpful for many people.
That should be handy for like tax season too, so you can have your total earnings.
So, well, I would say that you can use it, but at your own risk. I mean, I'm not providing tax expertise here or
I do my
advice.
own stunts, so and I avoid warranties. So that's my.
Yeah.
What's
And
done?
one thing to note, sorry, just one thing to note is that the Oracle value was only available starting June 9th. So anything before June 9th, it just takes the value of zero. So if there is any hotspot that you have, you will see that the value HNT dollar calculation is only after the June 9th, not before.
There was a comment in chat that exporting these reports to Excel or PDF would be awesome.
I haven't figured it out yet, but I don't think it should be hard. I have just haven't uh, see if it is a possibility.
Oh, that's cool. Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, the design is very clean. I mean, I like the layout. It's clean and looks very nice, man.
yeah. I tested it with maybe a couple of hotspots, and it does work nice. I'm trying to integrate a couple more things where rather than entering owner ID and hotspot ID, you can just enter one of your hotspot name, and it pulls up the information for an account. I think that would be handy. Just haven't had a chance to work on it yet.
Well, this is fantastic. Thank you very much for presenting. this looks great. And if anyone wants to follow up with other questions, can you put contact information, I guess, just about Discord into chat?
Yeah,
So if
so
anyone wants to contact,
can you hear me?
yes. Oh,
Oh, for a moment, I think it stopped. So let me just put, I mean,
Yeah.
I goes by Wishplorer on the Discord, so you can just ping me if you want, if you have any feedback or if you want to provide any comments. Yeah, I'm available there.
and if someone were to want to go down this path as far as developing an application along these lines, any advice that you can give here, or I mean, you kind of went over the frameworks that you were using, but
So yeah, I mean, again, if anyone is interested, I can walk through in detail how my website is working. Uh, I don't know if I'll be doing a lot more on it, right? Again, if there are any feedback, if user wants anything, I'll probably implement it. But I'm like, for me, thing is up and it's running, and it's for the purpose it is. I want to learn more about new things. So what I'm really trying to do is enhance the backend so that it becomes faster. And that's my main purpose right now. But if a user have, let's say, a feedback where, hey, this would be cool if we can look at this particular data in this way, I think those things are pretty easy to do. And since also I have access to the ETL instance, sometimes I'm not even going to my site and I'm just saying that, I have access to data, can I just quickly create a dashboard? So that's the way to go. And I think I just reached out to Jamie because I saw he had it that, hey, ETL instance is available for anyone to use. So I sent him a message. He created a account for me like in an hour, and then I was up and running right there.
very cool. And this may be a question either to you or to Jamie, but how large is that instance?
The ETL instance.
Yeah,
This one, it's pretty beefy.
yeah,
I want to say it's like a digital ocean machine with like 32 gigs of RAM, but I'm also running the ETL node and the Postgres database on the same server, and so I think you could probably be more efficient about it. It's also like I noticed I've now spun up like a bunch of these, and most of the work is during that first week or two while it's syncing, and sort of just like and then it's just like a steady stream of both syncing blocks and transcribing them into Postgres. So
gotcha.
I think there's a world where you could kind of like and work, like nights and weekends, kind of exploring like how could we provide like an image of like a fully synced node at a snapshot that people could
Yeah,
sync off of. Like I've stuck uh some of the blocks and the block ledger and even some of the Postgres database into IPFS, but that's not like particularly fast. It's actually like basically the same speed as just doing it yourself. So uh, yeah, it's still pretty tricky to get one of these spun up, which is unfortunate. And I hope that like and then DigitalOcean doesn't have great support for making public snapshots.
mhm.
Or else I would do kind of the AWS thing where I'd take a snapshot and put that public, and then it'd just be like, "Good luck to you, sir." So we're looking at some other options. If there's any like serious cloud database jockeys on the call, I've been looking at Aurora serverless on AWS. I've been looking a
Mm,
little bit. Google has these BigQuery public data sets. Um, there doesn't seem to be like an obvious way that you can like sign up for it, but for instance, there's like a Bitcoin database on BigQuery. There's like an Ethereum database, and at the DY, like we're more than happy to foot the bill to pay for this stuff. Um, and so it's more about like figuring out sort of like a sustainable way of providing access to a persistent database, since there's security concerns, like there's load concerns. Something like Aurora and Aurora serverless would be really promising if it was able to sort of like we can we'll maintain the ETL node that populates the database, and then everybody can kind of like pay for their own usage would be ideal. But I'm open to ideas. This is
and okay, Well, you mentioned being able to cover the usage costs on that. Can you ballpark what we're talking about here? Because I know this is a lot larger than some people initially expected when they were looking at setting one of these nodes up.
Yeah, this one ends up running me about $100 a month, USD, and then there was a bug, and then you have to like, if you are setting one up, we don't have a dedicated channel for it, but feel free to add message or DM me because there's like some common mistakes, like the one that hit a couple of people who have been running nodes was there was like a specific hotspot that Google wouldn't geocode the address of correctly, and it got stuck in an infinite loop and rang up like a couple $100 worth of geocoding charges because I did not have limits set on my account. So uh, be careful out there, kids.
Great. I mean, and yeah, if again, this is Vishal. So if anyone has a question or a feedback or any comments about the Helium Hiker or this particular dashboard, let me know on Discord. I'm available there as Wishplorer. And yeah, thank you for allowing me to present this sites.
That was great.
Thank
Thanks a
you.
lot, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.